In Spanish-speaking countries, greenie missionaries sometimes find themselves in a hard place at a dinner appointment because of their trainer's better understanding of language. Let me explain what I mean. In Spanish, the word for the infinitive to eat is comer. And I eat, every verb has to be conjugated, and the way to say I eat is como. Okay? Comer becomes como, comes, come, comemos, comen. Okay? Comen. And what we see in como, I eat, and then obviously the word for no is no. That's easy. Well, here's the joke. Here's the setup for this practical joke. If this ever happened to any of you return missionaries that spoke Spanish, I'm sorry to bring back some painful memories. Here's how it works. Let's say the greenie and their trainer are going to a dinner appointment, and the trainer wants to have some fun with their greenie. And so they say, okay, this is our first dinner appointment, and Latinos love to eat, they love to cook, they love to share. They are such kind-hearted, wonderfully generous people. And here's the thing, though. This little abuelita, this little grandma, has cooked a dinner for us, and she's going to give probably a heaping plate, huge portion. When you're done, her first question is going to be, ¿Quiere más? Which means, do you want more? Now, if you want more, great. Ask for it. Just say, sí. But if you're full, you don't want to offend her. So there's a certain way of saying no that's much more kind. Okay, it's a little more formal, but at least it will tell her, no, I'm full now. It's been great, but I can't eat any longer. Okay, in some ways, that's exactly what you're saying. I can't eat. I don't eat. And remember, I eat is como, and not is no. So if she comes and you're stuffed and she says quiere más, just say como no. Okay, como no. Now, to a greenie who just learned his verb conjugations in the MTC, that's going to sound legitimate. Como no. Okay, gracias, compañero. I think I can handle that. I eat not. So it's not no como? Yeah, definitely not no como. Okay, it's not no I eat. It's I eat not. Okay, como no. Now, you Spanish speakers are probably already laughing, because como no, unbeknownst to this poor greenie, really means, sure, why not? Now, imagine what's going to happen then. When abuelita comes out with a heaping plate, you eat it, and now you're stuffed, and she comes back, ¿Quiere más? You want more? And you look and say, como no? And she's like, oh, great. And she starts piling more on your plate, and you're confused. What on earth is happening? I just told her I don't eat. No, you just told her, sure, why not? I want more. Once you're done with that plate, and now you're devastated, you have no more room, she comes, Elder, hermana, ¿quiere más? And you're looking, como no? And she's like, huh, wow, okay, you got a hollow leg. And she keeps on heaping it on. Now, I don't want to over-dramatize this, but there's the challenge. How much can you handle? How much room do you have in you if someone keeps asking, ¿Quiere más? Because you know who the ultimate person is who asks if you want more? It's God. God, who in his infinity of fullness wants to give you all that he has. He wants to open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing so great that we don't have room to receive it. Como no? Recibo no. I can't handle anymore. Well, how much can we handle? Look at verse 32 and 33 of section 88. And these two verses are haunting if we have the wrong answer, but glorious if we have the right one. Verse 32, he says, they who remain, he's just described celestial, terrestrial, telestial, being quickened by a portion of celestial, terrestrial, or telestial glory, and eventually growing into a fullness of those glories. What about those who aren't receiving any of those glories? Who's left over? Well, I guess we got sons of perdition here. Those who remain shall also be quickened. Yes, resurrection is for everyone, even outer darkness. They who remain shall also be quickened. Nevertheless, they shall return again to their own place. They didn't receive celestial or terrestrial, telestial. What do you receive? Well, whatever you're willing to. That's what he says. Return to their own place to enjoy that which they are willing to receive. because they were not willing to enjoy that which they might have received. That to me is one of the saddest verses in Scripture. ¿Quiere más? You want more? No, I think I'm good. I've got enough glory. No more. Am I willing to, or am I wanting to stop at the telestial kingdom, or stop at the terrestrial kingdom? Or am I willing to go to receive the celestial kingdom with its promise of eternal progression? No ending there. ¿Quiere más? Oh, sí, quiero más. As much as you are willing to give. When God offers us something, how big is the bowl that we extend? A little handful? Extended arms? An infinite amount of glory is what he's trying to give us. How much am I willing to receive? That, to me, verse 32 is one of those, God is bound when we don't do what he says. He's bound by the limitations of our acceptance. And instead of receiving all we might have received, we only get what we were willing to receive. The way he says it in verse 33, for what doth it profit a man if a gift is bestowed upon him, and he receive not the gift? Behold, he rejoices not in that which is given unto him, neither rejoices in him who is the giver of the gift. Oh, compare the that with the him. The that is the gift. The him is the giver. And we don't seem to care about either one. We wouldn't open ourselves to receive the glory God intended to give us. We rejoiced neither in the glorious gift nor the even more glorious giver. Samuel the Lamanite wrestles with that same idea in the book of Helaman. It's not enough to be grateful for the gift. We need to be grateful to the giver. We need to rejoice over both and be open to both, or we'll receive something less. And yes, we'll rejoice in that, but there was so much more God could have given us. This is like section 84, people only able to handle Aaronic ordinances when God intended to give them Melchizedek ordinances. You settled for the tabernacle. I wanted to give you the temple. You were open to angels, but not to God himself. What are we willing to receive? We will determine largely what it is that God can give us. Which heaven will we be most comfortable in? That's where we'll end up. With a God infinitely above us who was calling us to climb higher and higher through our entire lives. ¿Quiere más? Sí. Quiero más. I want more, not in a selfish way, but in a way that opens itself to the selflessness of God, the giver of every good thing.